Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining today's session about transforming the way your team works in Slack. My name is Melissa, and I'm on the platform marketing team here at Slack. And today I'm joined by my teammate, Elizabeth, who manages our community program, which you'll be hearing about a little later. In the next 30 minutes or so, we'll walk through how you can get more value from Slack, especially if you're an existing user. Or if you're new to Slack, you can set your team up for success from the start. Then we'll show you the ways other companies are applying some of these concepts to empower their teams. And then we'll get a little more specific about how you can get started. So let's dive in and give you a little more background. Okay, so recapping for those of you who are learning about Slack for the first time. Slack is a channel-based messaging platform that replaces email inside your company. Channels provide you and your team a shared view into the work that's being done. And because everyone in the channel has access to the same information, they can work in lockstep. And when new members join, it's much simpler to catch up on the context they need to start working. That shift to using channels as a way to keep people informed and coordinated in and of itself can transform how you work. But you can make Slack even more powerful and serve your team's specific needs even better by adding apps and workflows to your Slack workspace. The average enterprise uses a lot of software, over 1,000 cloud services on average. And as teams use more and more tools to do their daily work, information about what everyone is actually doing gets fractured across lots of different locations. Your sales team works in Salesforce, customer support information is in Zendesk, and the progress your engineering team is making is being tracked in Jira. All of these pieces of software are purpose-built, and they're excellent at serving the needs of specific teams like sales, support, engineering. But when you want different teams to work together, say your support team needs to follow up with engineering on a bug reported by a customer, it can be difficult to break across these information silos. That's where Slack does its best job. By integrating your tools with Slack, you can bring key information into the stream of conversation that's happening in channels so you can better collaborate with your teammates and tools. There are three main ways to connect your existing tools and processes that make your team more empowered, dynamic, adaptive, and aligned. Let's take a look at how you can make these customizations in Slack so your workspace reflects your team's actual unique way of working. First, and the most turnkey way to connect your tools is through the Slack app directory. This publicly available ecosystem of apps has grown dramatically over the last few years. We have nearly 2,500 apps in our directory, ready to install in your workspace today out of the box that can help with common tasks like looking up and sharing account information in Salesforce or previewing files from Google Drive. Many of the tools you're already using have an app in the app directory. Next is a more technical option. For those of you who can code, we offer Slack APIs and a whole host of features that developers can use to build custom integrations for tools that are either internal to your company or not available in our app directory. And finally, if you're looking to create something custom but don't have the technical skills, there's Workflow Builder, a tool in Slack that helps you automate routine tasks without writing a single line of code. You can set up a workflow to kick off after something specific happens in Slack, like a new person joining a channel or someone reacting to a message with an emoji. We call this a trigger. And once a workflow is triggered, you can add custom logic about what happens next, like sending a message or prompting a form, or even syncing information with your external tools so you don't have to worry about it. You might want to use Workflow Builder to onboard new employees or run daily stand-ups, or to report status to the team, or even collect information from your teammates. Whatever it is, the possibilities are endless. And once the workflow is published, it happens automatically behind the scenes, so you and your team can focus on your most important work. Let's take a look at some of the companies that are using these customizations successfully. The content marketing team at publishing company Dow Jones coordinates campaigns and internal comms in Slack. To streamline tasks and reduce context switching, they rely on a suite of integrations that connect their everyday tools and services. This gives them the flexibility to use their favorite tools directly in Slack channels where they share files and messages and move work forward. Some of these tools include the Drift app that automatically summarizes and shares key information about sales leads right into Slack, which keeps the sales team up to date on their newest pipeline and ensures the marketing team is in the know so they can appropriately support their sales peers. The marketing team is also responsible for delivering engaging content to a variety of audiences, from website content to virtual events and digital marketing campaigns, which is why they use the Asana app, a task management tool for viewing tasks, managing deadlines, sharing and receiving updates, all without leaving Slack. Included in all the content the marketing team delivers, they also arm their sales team with valuable assets and enablement. Their internal content publishing platform of choice is HighSpot, which also integrates with Slack. The team uses handy shortcuts in their workspace to locate content in HighSpot without leaving Slack, saving them loads of valuable time. All of these apps that I've mentioned here are available for anyone to install on their Slack workspace by visiting our app directory. Loblaw, a Canadian grocery and pharmacy retailer, took their customization of Slack a step further and used our APIs to build a custom app that they named Genie. Genie serves a variety of teams at Loblaw, from enabling field reps to updating product availability, to onboarding new colleagues, to helping the engineering team summarize a code release and managing incidents. This is a great example of a democratized Slack app that aids both technical and non-technical teams so they can stay focused on their most important work with the confidence that Slack is handling the tedious logistics behind the scenes. Sticking with the grocery shopping theme, let's take a look at Shipt, a Target-owned US-based delivery service. Having made the transition to remote work in 2020, Shipt employees now send 100,000 messages every day, including the use of Slack integrations across 78% of their entire workforce. And they've also published over 100 automated workflows that they created using Workflow Builder. The team's favorite workflow helps teammates submit issues in an intuitive and streamlined way, which you can see here on the right-hand side of the slide. The workflow kicks off when a new person joins the channel. It happens. Then a workflow walks them through how to submit issues to IT, including a form that captures all required details about the issue. Once submitted, the issue is routed to the IT team, and an automated submission receipt is sent to the requester via direct message. Beyond this one workflow, 11 different emoji reaction triggers a variety of workflows. For example, when someone needs a loaner laptop, a custom loaner emoji triggers a workflow that walks them through the process. And if they want to pick up that laptop in person, due to pandemic protocol, that kicks off an entirely new workflow to help them through that process too. Like I said earlier, with Workflow Builder, the possibilities are truly endless. But these aren't the only companies creatively customizing Slack to fit their team's unique way of working. Like I said earlier, there are nearly 2,500 out-of-the-box tool integrations available in the Slack app directory. And for those who want to add a little no-code automation, there are 295,000 people using Workflow Builder to do just that. And for those with engineering resources, there are 925,000 developers building with our APIs to create custom solutions internal to their companies. My colleague Elizabeth, who I introduced earlier, has the privilege of seeing all this activity firsthand through the Slack community program she manages. So I'm going to pass it over to her to tell you a bit about how she uses these kinds of customizations to help better manage our community.
Thanks, Melissa. First, let me give you a little bit of background about our community programs. Right now, you can visit slackcommunity.com and join over 10,000 other folks who are meeting up about Slack. This network is almost entirely user-led, and right now, all of our meetups are virtual. We also have an exclusive workspace for community members where you can connect with others, see best practices in action, and best of all, ask questions and get answers from other folks who are working in Slack. As one of the community managers, I also get the pleasure of being the Workspace admin and making sure that the workspace is tailored for our chapter leaders and our community members. That means adding in apps like Greetbot, which welcomes new members and gives them an overview of what to expect in the workspace, where to go, and even some suggestions around channels to join. We also use a ton of workflows, a ton. We use workflows for all our operations with our chapter leader program, including reimbursement requests, content updates, approvals, and even a couple workflows to inject fun and humanness in our interactions. We even have a custom-built app that helps our members report inappropriate messages or spam, which they can choose to do anonymously or with their name attached. I was lucky enough to work with the engineers on our developer relations team in creating and implementing the app. Basically, we talked about what we needed in the workspace, and then they went to the API site and helped to build it. Okay, I'm going to hand it back to Melissa to talk a little bit more about why you'd want to take advantage of some of these features in your workspace.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Let's dive in a little deeper and discuss the kind of value you might see from customizing Slack in these ways. Slack empowers your team to work the way they always have. It's just a matter of setting up your workspace to reflect that specific work style. The value that this brings manifests itself in a few different ways. First, it helps teammates stay in the loop, and not just on conversations happening, but decisions and brainstorms, and even updates to and from your other tools and services. While getting work done is important, it's also important to recognize the human side of showing up to work each day, especially now, even if we're all mostly working remote. The beauty of these customizations on Slack is that they give you an opportunity to foster team culture, so you can feel bonded, so you can establish connection, and make people feel like they're truly part of a team. And last but not least, setting up Slack with integrations and automated workflows means that you're setting your team up to maximize their time. It means reduced context switching outside of Slack to other tools. It means automated workflows are simply handling tedious tasks in the background. And it means your team is that much more focused, productive, and efficient in the work that they're delivering each day. Let's dive into this idea around staying informed. With people and tools keeping pace with the flow of conversations happening in a channel, it means that teams can always reference back to prior discussions. And if you're new to a channel, project, or team, you can always scroll through channel history to catch up on the context you need to dive right in. This makes it easier to foster team collaboration inside and outside of Slack, especially since you can have peace of mind that your tools are syncing through the actions you take in Slack too. One example that I'd like to offer here is my personal experience with the Google Drive app for Slack. If I want to share a file with my team and I've forgotten to update the access permissions of the file, the app catches that I've forgotten. It gives me a super easy way to fix the access options without even leaving channel. I don't have to click out to my browser, which is a pain on mobile with enterprise authentication. I can just change the setting in a click and be done. You can probably tell this happens to me a lot. And I love that the Google Drive app makes it so simple for me so as not to break my focus on the work that I'm doing in Slack. Something else I really appreciate about this particular integration is that I get notified when someone makes a comment on any of my docs in Google Drive. I can not only view the comment, but even reply to it by threading a response in Slack. And what's even better is that my reply in the Slack thread syncs as a comment back in the doc, so I don't have to bounce out of Slack. I can stay in my flow of concentration. This becomes especially handy on mobile too. And there's more where that came from. I've already mentioned the Slack app directory a few times, but here's another reminder that you can install apps like the Google Drive integration by visiting slack.com/apps.
One of the ways that we like to keep engagement and a sense of belonging high within the community is to use workflows. So we use a number of workflows that I mentioned before, but we also have some fun workflows, like in our social yelling channel. One of our community members set up a post on Mondays with a picture of a grumpy cat, just wishing everyone a happy Monday. But one that I particularly like is the icebreaker workflow that we use before our chapter leader meetups. And the icebreaker workflow is super simple, but provides this touch point for conversation and a way to get to know other chapter leaders beyond just how they're using Slack. So it's a workflow that's triggered through the menu, through a shortcut, and it asks a few questions about how the week is going, and then has a different question at the end that has nothing to do with Slack. In this case, we've got a fun example. We've also asked things like, if you had a boat, what would you name it and why? Once that form is filled out, it posts the answers into channel where people can add React-G, and it's even kicked off some interesting threaded conversations. If you want to try out some workflows for your team, you can explore the pre-built workflows by following the link on the screen or by clicking on templates inside of Slack directly from Workflow Builder. Building a really great team culture is awesome, but work is also about getting things done and being productive. For more insights on how Platform can help, I'll turn it back over to Melissa.
Setting up Slack with apps and workflows mean that you save time. I like to refer to this as a productivity flywheel. The more you make Slack work for you by automating routine tasks and streamlining processes, the more you can focus on what really matters. You should let Slack handle what I like to call the work of work. I've seen this done really well by the DevOps team at Hearst, a New York-based publishing company. Previously, whenever a Hearst employee requested access to a new software tool, the team found themselves asking the same tedious follow-up questions. What's your email? What's your username? What level of access do you need? So they automated the process using Workflow Builder. The workflow first prompts requesters to fill out a form, including a series of mandatory questions to reduce any post-submission back and forth. Completed forms are then delivered to a DevOps team member via direct message, where he or she can approve with a click. From there, a custom Slack app picks up the approval and completes the task of granting access to the tool. This is a really great example of combining two of the customizations we've been talking about today: automated workflows and custom-built integrations with our Slack APIs. For those of you interested in building custom Slack apps, you can get started today by visiting our API site. You'll find a ton of documentation, tutorials, and step-by-step instruction on how to get started building your first Slack app. And you definitely don't have to wade through all of that information on your own. We have a slew of developer tools, from SDKs to GitHub repos to app manifests, all meant to help you on your app building journey.
That was a lot. We just talked about APIs and dev tools, but let's take a step back and see how this all comes together when you put it into practice. As the Workspace admin for the community workspace, one of the things that I have to think about pretty strongly is how I'm going to set up a channel and what are the things that I need to add in to that channel to make it custom and make it work for our team. So when you set up your Slack channel, you want to pick a name that fits into the naming convention that your org might have, but is also descriptive enough to be searchable. You'll also want to add a description for your channel, which you can always change at a later time. Next, you're going to add your topic. Now, this might be the same as your description, or it might be something different. It's a great place to call out anything specific to that channel that someone would need at a glance. And again, this is always something that you can edit later or update as channel topics change. The next thing I like to do is write out and add in a pinned post. In this example, we're showing our chapter leader where to find important documents, what channels they need to go to, the apps they might want to add into the workspace or authorize, workflows they'll want to use in order to communicate with other members and find things, and also how to report messages that are inappropriate in channel. So this is an example of one of the workflows that we call out in the pinned post. We really want to help folks get to know each other as chapter leaders, and so introductions are a great way to do that. This workflow makes it really easy for someone when they join as a chapter leader to say hello in channel, and for everyone to say hello back. And the pinned post really drives how important it is home for that user. And this is the message reporter that's referred to in the pinned post. You may remember I talked earlier about working with our developer relations team to build a custom app. This is that app. We put it in the pinned post so the information is easy to find, but also because we like to show off a little bit of the capabilities of the Slack API. It is, after all, a Slack workspace. The last thing that we like people to do is make sure they know what apps are already installed in the workspace and to add anything additional. And so here you can see apps that are already authorized by an admin in the workspace. Now, I made sure everything is ready to go on my channel description, my topic, my name, my pinned post. I want to make sure when someone joins my channel, they get a welcome message. And so I use Workflow Builder to do that. Now, that welcome message can go to a person via Slack bot. It can be posted in a channel. It really is up to you on how you want to welcome someone in. We like to send the welcome message to our chapter leaders through Slack bot. That way, they always have a way to refer back to where that welcome message was, and it gives them the lay of the land when they join. Okay, you've done everything. Now it's time to finally add your people, and voila, you're all ready and set to go.
That was awesome, Elizabeth. It really helps crystallize how everything can come together in a practical way. Now let's talk about how you can get started just like Elizabeth did. This was a ton of information, so don't be overwhelmed. You can get started in small ways. If you're not using apps yet, check out the Slack app directory to see which of your existing tools can plug into Slack. Don't see what you're looking for in the app directory or have an internal tool you'd like to integrate into Slack? Build a custom app from scratch using our APIs. Visit api.slack.com to get started with our documentation and developer tools. If you're interested in automating routine tasks in Slack, open up Workflow Builder and give it a try. It's in the drop-down menu on the upper left corner of your workspace under Tools. And if you want to hear more about what others are doing, get inspired, swap best practices, or simply just need help troubleshooting from your peers, the Slack community is always there for you. You can find your people at slackcommunity.com. Well, that's it from us. We look forward to seeing you customize Slack to fit your team. Thanks so much for joining us today.